Welcome to our Park City Market Talk webinar. I'm Ron Wilstein, a broker at Keller Williams Luxury Properties here in Park City, Utah.
And I'm Jeremy Wilstein, the buyer consultant for the Wilstein team. And welcome to our November 2017 Park City Market Talk webinar.
All right, we have a lot to cover, so let's talk about our topics for today. First of all, the ski season's just around the corner. We're going to give you the opening dates for Park City and Deer Valley.
Next up, we're going to talk about Ski Magazine and how Deer Valley came right back into the #1 position.
Yep, good news, Deer Valley. And then we're quite proud to announce for the very first time our new website, BuyParkCity.com. It's brand new. It is expected to launch later, in December, but we'll give you some details on that.
And then we're going to talk about the upcoming Olympics in South Korea. For the Westerners out there, it might be Pyeongchang 2018. But it's Pyeongchang, February 9th to 25th in Pyeongchang, South Korea.
Practice with your Korean friends.
Pyeongchang.
All right, that's February 9th through 25th. We'll give you a few more details on that. Then, of course, give you our monthly Park City Market Talk webinar, let you know what has been selling or not selling. And then we're introducing a brand new segment to our webinars entitled This is Today's Market. We're going to address the topic of our limited supply market versus overpriced properties. So with that in mind, let's begin by looking at when the resorts are going to open for skiing and riding.
All right. So we have our two resorts here. Park City is opening on November 17th, right around the corner. And December 2nd, Deer Valley is going to open their slopes.
We're excited about that. And now Ski Magazine put out their resort guide, Deer Valley rising to that #1 position over the last, the history of Deer Valley. They've either been in 1, 2, or 3 position, but they're back on top. And there's a number of reasons for that. Ski Magazine basically used 10 basic metrics that they asked their readers to grade resorts on. This year, Deer Valley placed first in 4 of them: grooming, service, lodging, and kid-friendly environment. And that's why they got the recognition that they did.
So some of the people explain Deer Valley as Deer Valley is the
That was easy.
button of ski resorts. All-around outstanding resort, 5-star service, not surprising. Deer Valley is the standard to which all other resorts shall aspire.
Yes, Deer Valley is great. Now, Park City wasn't left behind. They were rated 16 overall in terms of resorts and got a 10 position for their lodging. Of course, we have so much lodging and right around the resort there. Now let's talk about websites. You're familiar with our website. We have 3 of them. Our main one is viewparkcityrealestate.com, and we frequently refer to it during our webinars. But now we're happy to give you a debut of BuyParkCity.com. It's brand new, and we're excited about it because it will have faster property searches, much better and larger webinar displays. And of course, we do a lot with webinars. Easier to locate properties on. Broader social media reach, which is a great tool that we haven't really taken advantage of until this website. Email and text marketing, and faster access to agents. So we know you're going to be quite happy about it. It's scheduled to launch in December of 2017, so we're a couple weeks out from that. And if you're used to coming to viewparkcityrealestate.com, once it becomes live, we will redirect that address to buyparkcity.com. Of course, display it and show you some of the features of it. So we're happy about it, and check it out. But right now, continue to view parkcity.com.
All right, now let's talk about Pyeongchang 2018. Right now, the U.S. Olympic team trials are going on right now, so we can select the members of the U.S. Olympic team.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people call Park City, a lot of Olympians call Park City home because of the great training facilities, access to the airport, a lot of the same reasons why you purchase in Park City. And so it's a really exciting time as these Olympic athletes have been training for the last 4 years in order to get to Pyeongchang, South Korea.
Excellent. In fact, last Winter Olympics, when it was in Sochi, I want to say it with the Korean accent, that's never going to work. Of the Olympians, and particularly the medalists, I think Park City had the highest per capita of Olympians. So we're quite excited and hope that they do just as well this year. We don't want to leave out the fact that it's not only the Olympic team, but it's also the Paralympic team that are going through their trials right now. So let's turn our attention to the real estate market, and here's the juice here. Over the past 12 months, there's been 1,423 sales. This is homes, condominiums, and vacant land, and this is up significantly, 12% or 150 sales from the year before.
Significant. Now this is a year-over-year comparison of closed sales from November 2016 through October 2017. Look at that. Homes up 11%, condos up 11%, lots up 19%. Increase in sales. Now we're going to go take a closer look at what exactly happened in each segment.
Here we're looking at homes, and we've broken it, same time period, but we've broken it into the Park City limits and then the Snyderville Basin. Number of transactions up 18% from 148 to 175, and in the Snyderville Basin rising 8% from 362 all the way up to 390. So strong increase, strong demand.
Condo sales inside the city limits up 27%, significant. Snyderville Basin were down 4%. Inside the city limits, there was a few new construction properties that came online, but just attribute that to greater demand for the condos inside the city limits in that strict geographic area.
And then land here, we're looking at, well, in Park City there were 21 the year before, 20 this year, so one fewer sales, statistically 5% drop, but basically level. In the Snyderville Basin, however, a nice increase, up 22%, climbing all the way up to 172 sales. Now this graph here we like to bring out during our webinars because it shows us the average time on the market of closed sales, and you can see that it is decreasing. So not only are properties selling more rapidly and more being sold, but they're selling faster year-over-year comparison. We're going to talk about the significance of this in a later segment of this webinar.
Now, what everybody's interested in, what's happening in terms of property prices? It's going up.
Yes, we always like to see that arrow pointing upward.
Now take a look at that. Home median sold prices inside the city limits up 19% from $1.6 million to $1.9 million.
$300,000 year over year. Nice.
Better get some of that. Snyderville Basin up 2%, hovering right at 985, just under $1 million. So we seem to be getting a little bit of resistance there. We'll see when that pops through.
Yeah, I think it will. Just not sure exactly when. Shifting to condominiums, you can see again in the city limits up 16%, climbing from 646,000 all the way up to 752,000. So really strong appreciation within the city limits. Up in the Snyderville Basin, 5%, under that 500,000 mark, but again strong and certainly respectable 5% appreciation year over year.
Finally, we'll look at vacant land sales inside the city limits. We had one fewer sale, but the price is up 16%. So of that one sale, it was a lot more expensive.
Well,
just kidding. A cumulative effect.
Cumulative. Different properties, when you have only 20 that sell, you take 3 or 4 that are a little bit different than the year before. That's enough to...
There's some pretty expensive multi-million-dollar sales up in Red Hawk or Red Cloud.
Yep.
So that price is up to $777 for a piece of land. Snyderville Basin down slightly, 7% from $455 to $425. More lot sales. A lot of different product out there. So.
Yep. Now let's take a look at this new segment. This is today's market, and what we want to talk about today is our limited supply market over priced properties. And there's a relationship between these two, and it's important for us to note them. There's always a relationship between supply and demand, and if you have a limited supply market, that naturally pushes prices up. We expect to see rising prices. What we don't want to see, but we are seeing in Park City, is we're seeing overpriced properties too. And that's simply because it's a balancing act between supply and demand. And so we're hoping to give you a couple facts here to help you dial in on exactly what's happening in today's market. So we'll start with the first one, which is fact number one. Currently our supply of properties for sale is very, very low. It is at its lowest level since the height of the market in 2005-2006. Current supply of properties being low, sellers are naturally asking themselves, how high can I list my property? It's a very reasonable question. We just would want to recommend that you tweak it slightly and ask, how high can I reasonably list my property? Because if you get too high, then it won't sell, and that defeats your purpose.
Fact number 2, while properties are selling faster than a year ago, the properties on the market that are not selling are staying on the market longer than a year ago.
And that points us back to that earlier statistic that if you price your property correctly, it is moving fast, in fact faster than a year ago in our rising market. However, if you price it too high, it's staying on the market longer for, in one sense, an unspecified period of time.
And also when sellers overprice their properties, they're encountering strong buyer resistance. Buyers are refusing to pay their overpriced market asking prices, because why should they?
Yep.
And these properties are staying on the market longer if they sell at all. So if they don't sell, they stay on the market for a long time.
Yep. Fact number 3, eventually sellers lower their prices in order to sell. They kind of gone through their test period, but by then the damage is done. The property is stale on the market, and buyers begin to ask, what's wrong with the property? Why didn't it sell? And that doesn't help the seller sell their property, and it makes negotiations even tougher.
Fact number 3, continuation. When overpriced properties do eventually sell, history shows us that they sell at a lower price than if they had correctly priced their property in the first place.
So it takes a bit of figuring this out, and what you need to have is you need to have a knowledge of exactly what your competition for your property has been doing in terms of selling or buyer resistance, have an overview of what's happening in the Park City real estate market, and time of year in selling varies, because if you're selling a property during the ski season when a lot of the buyers are in for a short period of time, there's a shorter opportunity for them to buy. So what we always offer is a free consultation to talk through these elements. Ultimately, the decision will be the sellers, the property owners, where they're going to price their property, but we don't want them to go too high so that they sabotage their efforts to sell their property, but high enough to get the maximum they can get.
And buyers, they just simply don't want to overpay for a property, and they're always trying to determine the current fair market value of the property. Buyers in this market, because it is a rising market, will pay at, or they'll pay slightly above the fair market for the property, knowing that the next property is going to sell a bit higher. But they're not going to pay 20% over.
Nope. In fact, we're seeing resistance at 10% over.
Yeah.
Fact number 4 is most overpriced properties are in the high end of the market. And what we mean by that is $2 million or higher. And many of these owners do not need to sell. That's their situation. And so they're more inclined to test the market. And what they're looking for is they want to see if someone is going to want their property so badly that they will pay an inflated price. 95% of the time this doesn't work, as is shown by the long time on the market without selling statistics. So we're in a market right now which is strong. It's setting records for a number of sales year-over-year comparison. We're setting new price records, but if you go too high, they stay on the market without selling. And again, we're here to give you a free consultation, talk through those facts so that you understand them, so you can make the best decision for your situation.
So now the question arises, should you put your property on the market now? The answer is yes.
Yes.
Of course.
Particularly if you wish to sell it during the upcoming ski season. We're right on the threshold of it. Needs to be on the market right away. Needs to be on the internet. So if you're curious about values, even if you haven't decided yet, call for a free marketing consultation. We'll talk about this. We'll talk about any other questions that are on your mind, and then you decide what's best for you. If you want to learn about the market, what your property is worth, go to our website, viewparkcityrealestate.com. It's on that home page. Scroll down a little bit to the section entitled Learn What Your Property is Worth. Complete the form. It would take you less than a minute, and we'll reach out to you, answer your questions, and help you make the right decision for your situation.
And if you want to easily just shoot us an email too, Ron or Jeremy at thewilsteinteam.com, you can put in some details about your property, and we can get right back to you as well.
All right. So thank you for participating in our webinar and looking out the window. It is snowing as we speak. Good sign. So we want to see you on the slopes.
Thanks for joining us. Remember, Pyeongchang
Excellent.
2018.
That's right. The Olympics are coming.